Here's why the 2023 Cadillac Lyriq is getting a lot of love. We remember Cadillac as the automaker that made expensive and great-looking cars, packing gas-guzzling V8 engines. But with the 2023 Cadillac Lyriq, the American carmaker is all set to open a new chapter. The Lyriq is all-electric, featuring General Motors' new Ultium battery tech, which also underpins the GMC Hummer EV. The entry-level Lyriq packs a 100 kWh battery that can deliver a range of about 312 miles in the rear-wheel drive mode, making 340 horsepower. For those who'd love to relive the power and torque of Cadillacs of old, then the 500 horsepower, all-wheel drive version is the one to go for. Without a rumbling exhaust, of course. Don't expect a good range though, just like old V8s. The time to recharge, however, won't take long, and that gives it what it needs to take on the competition. The sheer girth of this electric SUV could have you mistake it for being a 3-row model, but a 4-seater is what it is, so that leaves it with 2 rows. The cabin is tech-laden, and gets an OLED curved infotainment/instrument display running the width of the dashboard. The floating central console and minimal controls are now becoming a trend on all EVs. The steering wheel looks unbreakable with those 2 broad spokes on either side, and the SUV features GM's Super Cruise hands-free highway driving technology. The first lot of SUVs have already been sold out, so we delve deeper to see how Caddy has managed to woo people with its first-ever electric vehicle. Performance and range take a hit, depending on the number of wheels driving the car, particularly when it comes to EVs. The rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive Lyriq both share the same 200 kWh battery pack. While the single-motor, rear-wheel drive version makes 325 lb-ft of torque, the all-wheel drive model gets an added front motor, taking the power up and torque to around 524 lb-ft. The AWD Lyriq is said to have a towing capacity of 3,500 pounds. Both models, with the help of a DC fast charger, can get topped up to an extent wherein both manage a 10-minute charge, pushing the Lyriq models to up to 76 miles. Buyers of the SUV will either get 2 years of free charging at EVgo charging networks, or a $1,500 credit through Cmerit for an installation of a Level 2 wall charger. The sudden gush of torque from the single-motor model results in linear acceleration. It doesn't feel like you've been strapped onto a rocket and then let off. It's not one of those EVs that gets your palms sweaty when you floor the throttle. This Caddy gets various drive modes, like Tour, Sport, Snow/Ice, and My Mode. These modes control the settings for the brakes, steering, and acceleration. There's also the option of an artificial sound being piped into the SUV. It also gets regenerative braking and a pressure-sensitive Reagan on-demand paddle behind the steering wheel. The ride is said to be smooth, and we've got to hand it to the front and rear independent suspension with frequency-dependent dampers, along with an active noise cancellation system. When art meets the future, and the future looks bright, an SUV like the Lyriq happens, and this holds to the cabin as well. The Lyriq comes with a connecting OLED unit that doubles up as an instrument panel and a touchscreen infotainment system. The infotainment part uses Google's Android Automotive operating system. There are also parts of the cabin wherein you'll find physical controls for the climate controls and other functions related to the SUV. Instead of touch controls, the Lyriq keeps it simple with knobs for the air vents. As for the touch-sensitive steering-mounted controls, we're not so sure if this was a good idea. There are lots of practical touches to the interior too. The electric architecture, like any other EV, results in dimensions that do not match gas-powered cars. Despite the length being somewhere in the middle of the Lincoln Aviator and BMW X5, its wheelbase is much longer. There's no doubt that the result is a sexy SUV, but with not too much of cargo capacity and rear headroom. There's even room for an extra adult in the second row. Standard features include a glass roof, a heated power-adjustable steering, Super Cruise hands-free highway driving assist, a 33-inch curved LED display, 8-way power front seats which feature heating, ventilated, and massage functions, a 19-speaker AKG studio sound system that includes headrest speakers as well, 20-inch wheels, optional 22-inch wheels, and a hands-free power tailgate, among other goodies. It's got everything a midsize SUV buyer is looking for: road presence, the typical appeal of a Cadillac, and a beautifully built interior. The only bummer is that you won't be getting the good old V8 muscle here. But Caddy is making up for it with seat-hugging torque figures. Now, that is hard to resist.